What's up YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Alan and this is my E46 M3 aka the Dirty M3. I just wanted to make this video as a little introductory video on what this channel is gonna be about and all the stuff I'm gonna be posting. So this video I'm gonna tell you about why I decided to get the car, how much I got it for, the stuff I've already done to it, and what I want to do in the future. I've really wanted to make YouTube videos on this car for a long time. As you can see, I've done a lot of stuff to it already, but back then with school and everything, I was pretty busy and had no time to do anything. So during this time of quarantine, when we're stuck doing nothing, I figured why not do something with my life and film some videos on this thing. So we got a lot of things going on in the future. Stay tuned for that. So the first thing I want to talk about with this car right here is why I decided to get it and how much I got it for, how many miles were on it, just the basics. So the reason why I decided to get this car was because I crashed my old car, the Mazda Miata, over on Woodside. If you guys from the Bay Area, you know where that is. It's a pretty fun road. I would check it out, but be cautious when you go in there. So I originally found this listing on Craigslist for $15,000, and at the time I was like, yo, I don't really want to pay $15,000 for this car, because I mean that's not a bad deal. I mean, I would say 13 was a good price for this car, but I messaged the seller, I did my bargaining, and I got it for $9,000. So I had to take the deal right away because you can't pass up something like that. So this car originally had 148,000 miles on it. And the paint was not as bad as it is right now. There was some fading on the bumpers and stuff like that, but just because I live near the beach and all that, my paint's gotten worse, but I am gonna correct the paint soon, so stay tuned for that. So the first thing you wanna do to your car, which I did with this car, was basic maintenance items. So I did the rod bearings, the vanos, the valve adjustment, subframe reinforcement. Those are the 4 things I think everyone should do. Also belts and pulleys. So 5 things you should do to your car when you get it, because you can never trust what the previous owner has done. That's the #1 tip for you. Don't believe everything they say. They can say they changed the rod bearings, but how do you know unless you take out your rod bearings and check? Or subframe reinforcement. You're not gonna be able to jack up the car when you buy the car. So I would not trust anything the previous seller says unless you know them personally. So funny story actually, when I first did the maintenance on this car, I actually forgot to order my belts and pulleys, which was a big mistake. So you can learn from me. When I was driving home one day from work, my accessory belt ripped and I was like driving 40 miles an hour. I was like, why the fuck is the power steering light not on and all that stuff? And my alternator light was on, my battery light. So I was like, oh fuck. And then I checked my hood and the belt was ripped everywhere. Like, just make sure you change all your belts and pulleys, because I had to learn the hard way. So let's start off with what I've already done to the car, starting from the front of the car. So the first thing, little mod I did was these things right here, the angel eyes for the car. I got them from Angel Eyes, guys. I recommend you get that kit. It comes with everything, all the wires and everything you need to wire it correctly. I wouldn't go with the eBay ones just because, you know, this seller is reputable and everything comes in the kit. So let's move on to the side of the car. This is actually the second most expensive thing that's on my car, and something I really wanted since I was a little kid. So I decided why not pull the trigger, since I do plan to track the car and I need some good wheels for the track, because obviously you don't want to run replica wheels when you're going on that track, because you don't know if they're can handle all that's for the track. So these are the wheels I got from my car, the TE37 OGs in hyper red. As you can see, I'll get you some cinematics of them and put them on right now. On the fake I spent a good money on these, and I really want people to enjoy it as much as I enjoy them on my car. So for the suspension I got on this car, it is actually the most expensive thing on this car, and it will ever be on this car, because I don't plan on spending any more money on that shit. So it is the JRZ RS3 Pros. These are the 3-way adjustable. So this is where the reservoir is mounted on the driver's side, and then for the reservoir for the JRZs on the passenger side is just mounted in this little big ass area right here where there's nothing anyways. So for the rear of the car, the suspension I have on the rear is a true rear coilover setup. I think they handle super well as a rear coilover instead of a shock and a spring in 2 different locations. So in the future, I'm gonna have to reinforce the rear with a brace, but that's for later on. I think it's fine right now with my strut bar. So moving on to the rear of the car, I do have a carbon fiber CSL trunk from ECS Tuning. I got this and the rear diffuser down here, both for $550 I think, which was a pretty good deal. I mean, when I saw the fitment on his trunk, the CSL trunk, usually from ECS Tuning, hella people say the fitment is really bad. So when I saw his fitment and how there's no gaps really anywhere. I was like, yo, I had to hop on this deal because everyone always complains about the fitment on the ECS, so I had to get that when I first got the car. That was actually my first mod actually. That and the Angel Eyes, the rear diffuser, the carbon fiber rear diffuser, and the trunk. So for the exhaust I have on this car, it's just an eBay Section 3. I got an eBay for like $200, which, I mean, for me, my friend, he also has a top speed muffler, I think. I mean, they both sound the same. It's not the Section 3s that change how your M3 sounds. I think all the Section 3s sound the same, so I was like, fuck it, buy it for 200 bucks, I don't really care. It's the Section 1s, if you get a rasp pipe and eliminate the rasp, where it will sound different. My friend actually has that, and I'll get some sound clips later on when we do some rollers and all that, get some cinematics with me and his car, but you'll tell the difference. But for me, I really like the rasp on this car. I don't know, like some people really don't like the rasp, but I don't mind the rasp. I think it gives it a unique like characteristic to the car. So as for the interior of the car, there's nothing really like special in this car. I really wanted to keep it a daily trackable car. So what I've already done to it is just this 9-inch Enon head unit and the BMW M Performance shifter. And I have a Radioneer or some shit like that. Some weird ass brand Radioneer short shifter. And I think this is a really good short shifter, especially because some dude on the Facebook pages was selling for 50 bucks just because his bushings were worn and he thought the shifter was bad entirely. So I got a really good deal on that, 50 bucks, and I think it's 30% shorter throws. I'm not sure, but as you can see, it is really notchy and way shorter than stock throws. So for the Enon 9-inch head unit, it does not come with Apple CarPlay. I think the newer model does, but I bought this over like a year ago when I first got the car. So what I had to do was just buy a dongle. You legit just plug in the dongle behind the head unit and run a cable, a lightning cable to your iPhone. And once you plug it in, the Apple CarPlay will pop up and you have Apple CarPlay for your car. I'll throw up a picture right now showing you how that looks like, but it's like 60 bucks on eBay. All you gotta do is search it up on eBay and you can find the dongle. And if you have the older unit, you get Apple CarPlay on your 2003, almost 16-year-old car, 17-year-old car. So this is my daily car, and I don't want to run 2 bucket seats just because when I give people rides, I don't want them to be hella uncomfortable. So I might just get 1 bucket seat in the future for myself when I do track the car. Another thing I also did to the car, and I really want to do it, for you that have BMWs, you know, it's a bolt that bolts your wheels onto your car. So every time you take it off, it doesn't stay on and you have to hold it with like your arm or have someone hold it for you or your leg or whatever. So I decided to get studs for my car. These are the 90mm studs from Hard Motorsport, something like that. But you can just search online. I mean, I think studs are a really good investment if you do work in your car a lot and take your wheels off a lot, which I do. I mean, that way you can just zap it off by yourself and take a wheel off by yourself. Usually it's not a 2-person job to take a wheel off, but for BMWs, I don't know why they went with a bolt instead of studs. So as far as what I want to do in the future, I have a lot planned for this car. The main goal of this car is to take it on the track and do track-oriented mods. But I mean, I also want the car to look good, so that's something in for the future. It's gonna look good, but also be a track car. So the first thing I want to do after I get some seat time in the track is to build a custom front splitter and custom front splitter mounts so that I can have more air on the track when I need it. I'm not too much in a rush to do that much stuff to my car just yet before I go to the track. So you're not gonna be seeing all that crazy stuff right away because I want to have seat time on the track before I do anything to my car, just to have a base so I can steadily improve and add on to what I really need. So in the future, I do want to get a big brake kit on the car. So for the fronts, I read on Build Journals forums that a lot of people use the Aston Martin DB9 big brake kits. So in the future, I'm gonna get that for the front. And for the rear of the car, a lot of people, I mean everybody that I see online is running Porsche 996 rear big brake kits. So both of them uses the OEM rotors, or you can use the CSL ones. They have brackets for both of them. So I think that's a really good big brake kit if you're on a budget but still want to have better brakes. For the rear of the car, there's nothing really much I want to do. I mean, in the future, I'm gonna get rid of the CSL carbon fiber trunk just because it's not strong enough to hold a wing when I want to add that in the future, so I'm looking for the OEM CSL one. For this exhaust, I do not plan on keeping it. I want to build a custom single exit, that way I can fit a Laguna pipe. I think right now my car is at 110 decibels, and that would not pass any sound booth or anything at any track, so I want to be able to go to like Laguna Seca, for example, and run my car, because that's a really fun track. I can't wait to go there. Also, in the future, when I get a little bit more money, I want to get the Beamer World single exit diffuser. That is like one of the nicest diffusers I've ever seen for the E46 M3, so just look out for that in the future. So as for a little maintenance stuff I want to get done to this car before I do track it, I do have tie rods that I want to get installed, so look out for a video in the future how to install tie rods, and just come hang out with us. And I have rear camber arms, because I think the stock ones can go up to 2 degrees, but for the track alignment I want 3.5 degrees of negative camber in the front and 2.5 in the rear. So I decided to go and buy some ECS tuning rear camber arms, so look out for that too. I have a video posted after I post this video up. So for the license plate on my car, I did go with DIRTYM3 just because this fucking car is so hard to keep clean. For all you guys that own black cars, you know that this shit is a pain in the fucking ass to keep clean. So I decided, why not just go with DIRTYM3, that way when it's dirty, it'll match my license plate, so I don't have to clean it that much, and saves me some work. So that concludes almost everything I want to talk about in this video. I mean, this video is just like a simple introductory video, why I got the car, what I've done to it, what my future plans are. Obviously, I want to do more shit to this car that I can't think about right now. I mean, those are the stuff that just popped up in the top of my head right away, but you just gotta stay tuned. Right now, I'm gonna do some cinematics for you. I'm gonna get my boy Tony, he's gonna shoot some, he's gonna practice some of the cinematics, but I'm gonna get some shots of this car just so you can appreciate how nice it looks. I mean, I think it looks really nice, and I need to get some shots of this car after I got the wheels and everything for it. I haven't taken any pictures of it, so let's get some cinematics for you.
Wonder why they hands on me. Why you tryna get the man's out? Love it when you dance on me. Ay, now they all got their hands out. Wonder why they hands on me. Girlie, why you tripping? Why you tryna get the man's out? Love it when you dance on me, but only go down if you say so. Wrist drown like a dawn for the pesos. Make nap, quarterback when the bass gone. Chris Paul snatch back for the ankles. Lift off, but I'm not on the fake. Excuse me, I had these plans. If you don't want them, then let's go make a movie. Tell me what your plans, if I was always clubbing for a man. I got these bands, turn up the fans. Girlie, why you tripping? I ain't tryna be a man. I ain't never switching, I was swerving like a NASCAR. Running up these digits, I just turned into a track star. I got 2 goals on the floor like a mascot. And I know getting old still a bastard. And I know I ain't nowhere to go. A sideshow, then a somewhere to go. I got foot on the gas, roll up like sushi. I'm in the class, why she throwing the ass? Now they all got their hands out.
You got pulled over? We're fucked right now, bro. Oh shit. So what just happened, Owen?
We got pulled over, but go film it.
Dude, that shit was crazy, bro. Oh fuck, dude.
I think it's hella chill,
Bro!
Dude, we just got pulled over after making this YouTube video.
Fuck?
Bro, he let us go. I was going hella fast down that one road, and holy shit, he said he saw me. He said he's gonna chase me, but good thing he let me go.
We went like a decent amount of speed. Like, we're not gonna say what we did, but we went pretty fast. And luckily, he was a really chill cop. Usually cops are not, you know, as chill as this guy was.
Especially around this area, SF State, holy shit.
Yeah, usually the SF State, you know, cops, they're hella like dicks, bro. Like, I get where he's coming from, but like, you know, we were just out here having fun time.
Bro, no
I know.
no nothing.
It's lit, bro.
He impound my car, nothing. Thank God.
That shit was crazy. Cause like he stopped in this intersection, and I was like, go right, and then he was like, nah, you go. We're like, oh shoot, he's gonna pull us